Okay, cool. So I think I'm live. Welcome guys to this session. This is lesson number 40. We are understanding CSS. And one second, just let me check if I'm live. Okay, great. Perfect, I'm live. So let's get started with this session. So guys, I welcome you back in this session. This session is all about CSS Miscellaneous, part 1. So in Miscellaneous, basically I've given this name because there are a lot of small topics which you guys need to understand when you're working with CSS, right? This can be using CSS with tables, using display property, using index. You can use also position. Those all things we are going to discuss here. So as those all topics were small topics, that's why I've not given any name. I've just written it as miscellaneous. Okay. So this lesson number is 40. I know yesterday 9 p.m. session was also there, but again my laptop got hanged, so there was some problem. That's why the yesterday's 9 p.m. session didn't happen. But do not worry, that session will be happening today at 1:30. So at that time I'll be covering CSS pseudo elements and pseudo classes. Okay, so don't worry about that. Yeah, good morning Jitender. Good morning everyone basically. So let's get started with this session. And if you don't know guys what is going on here, so basically we're starting with a playlist of front end where we are covering first the basics of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and then the advanced, and then the libraries and other frameworks. Okay, that's what is our plan. Right now we are in our lesson number 40. That means already 39 sessions have been done. And if you want to see those videos, you can go to the playlist in the CodeBeyond channel and you can see it. Okay, now if you do not know about me, so my name is Ritwik Raj and I'm a corporate trainer. I'm also a content strategist, research analyst, and I've also worked as a subject matter expert in most of the edtech companies. I have 3+ years of teaching experience and I've trained graduates and corporate employees. I've trained more than 30K students till now. It is increasing day by day. The subjects which I take is mostly into full stack development, front end, back end, and database. And I also do take tips and tricks and how to crack interviews, virtual or face to face. Please let me know if you can hear anything, any noise in the background. Just let me know if you can hear anything in the background, because I think a lot of noise is there in the background. Please do let me know. Or else just let me know if you can hear me properly. If you can hear me properly, then it's fine. Okay. Just please do let me know so that I can understand or I can do something about it. Okay, so the another thing is there is a good news for you all that you can use my coupon code, which is RIT10, and you can get a free Relevel sample test paper. If you do not know what is Relevel sample test paper, then don't worry. I'll tell you soon what is Relevel and why do we need a sample test paper. The next thing is that you can get a free level. Suppose if you know about Relevel, then basically this sample test paper will help you in understanding what are the questions can be asked in the actual test, right? Now coming to the Relevel, let's understand what is this. Okay, now when you talk about Relevel, it's basically a platform which is a India's first test hiring platform by Unacademy, which is helping job seekers find their dream job, so you can get a job basis on your skill and talent. Many candidates are there who have done maybe BSc degree or BCA or BCom, and they want to jump to IT field. So degree is something which is really important when you talk about any company, right? Or you want to get hired into any company. So that's one problem. And that's why Relevel is here, because it doesn't care about your degree or your college. It basically cares about your skill. So if you are skilled person, then you will get hired in a better company. So in Relevel of 50+ companies are there, including top startups and unicorns, and you can attempt a test for free. Now this free test is of 1000 marks, so you have to score above 700. If you score above 700, then you will be able to get a profile which we'll be sharing with you, and you can share it with your we can share it with the other client companies, and then they'll be able to interview you and you can get hired. The other thing is, if you score below 700, do not worry, because after that 30 days, after 30 days, that means 1 month, you can reattempt the test and you can give it again. So that's really cool. 1000+ job positions across business development, front end development, back end development are there. So all these jobs you can acquire and you can get hired. Now, how to register yourself? So in the description video, you can find the link of Relevel. Click on that and you'll be able to get into the Relevel website. You have to sign up there. How do you have to sign up? You have to just put your mobile number and you'll get a OTP. And after that, what will happen? You'll get into this page. So you have to choose the test of your choice based on your skills. So if you have skills on front-end development, select that and you will move to this page where you have to book a slot when you want to give the level test. Slots are limited, so I suggest you to book it fast. The next thing is that you have to fill in the details for the admit card. So the full name, email ID, birth year, current state, gender, everything you need to fill, and then do not forget to fill the coupon code, which is RIT10. If you fill the coupon code RIT10 when you apply, you will get your account with the sample paper. So in the sample paper, you'll be able to see what type of questions can be asked in the actual test, and you'll be able to crack the exam, right? So that is the whole procedure of signing up and registering on Relevel. So do not waste time. If you are skilled, then go ahead and register it for today. Okay. Suppose if you are not skilled, suppose you are lacking in somewhere and you don't want to appear for this test right now. So in CodeBeyond channel, you know that so many live sessions are going on. Some educator is taking DSA, some educator is taking competitive programming, somebody is taking SQL, somebody is taking Python. So try to grasp all the knowledge from there and upskill yourself, and then try to register you here. Okay. So this was all about Relevel. If you have any doubts, then please let us know in the comment. Also, you can put it and I'll be able to answer it. Okay. There is a Telegram channel link which you can follow. So the link is also given in the description. You can click on it and you can join the Telegram channel. The reason why I'm saying it to join, because you'll get all the notifications when I'm coming live, when other educators are coming live. All those notifications you'll get here. Also, I'll be sharing some of the project files which I've created. So those files will also be fetched from here. Okay. The next thing, as you already know, you have to subscribe the channel. So please do it, because it will be for your own benefit. If you hit the notification bell, what's going to happen? You will get all the notifications in your YouTube app as well. So Telegram is also there, but it'll be really good if you have subscribed to the channel. Other people will also get to know that this free content is there. Okay. Also, please, if you're liking the session, like it and also share it with your friends so that they can also get benefit out of it. Now let's start the topic of CSS and let's understand what all things we are going to understand here. Okay. So this is the miscellaneous session. That means we are going to understand a lot of small topics, 4 to 5 topics. And good morning, Yugandhar Vaidya. If anybody or more is there, then please let me know. I know it's morning. I know it's Friday. So I don't know how many of you are there in the live session, but I believe that after the live session will end, the video will be watched by many people. So even if you guys are watching this live session, then please let other people also know that this live session is going on for free and I'm teaching, right? So here what we are going to do is we are going to understand tables and display, right? And we are going to see how CSS works here, okay? And we are going to understand what is new in CSS properties, okay? So let me bring back my you can see the Visual Studio Code now. So here what we'll do is I'm going to close this and we are going to go to table.html. Okay. Now, if you remember what we did here was we created some of the files here and some codes. We just wrote these things, and let me show you my browser also. Okay. And I'll do one thing. I'll run this particular code. Okay. So this was actually the page which we created, right? This is running in a live server. So this is how we created everything, correct? And I think I explained you here about the row span, the call span, and how a normal table is created, right? But as you can see, we never used here any kind of CSS property, right? We never used here any kind of CSS property because I was only teaching how to create a table in HTML, correct? That's why I think I did not teach you the other things, right? So what I'm going to do here is, let's say I'm removing this cell spacing, right? Now, if I go to my browser, save this. So that's how it is looking, right? Now, this border which you have given, right? Which I've given here border, this can be given by our CSS also. So we can provide this particular thing by CSS. And how will you do that? You can go above title and you can just give here table, right? And to this table you can write or any property whichever you want, right? So let's say that I'm writing here border, okay, and I'm just writing here, let's say 5 pixel solid and red. This is the border which I want to give. Let's save this and let's check out what is happening. So if I go to my browser, you can see what's happening. Now please understand what's happening here. And if you can see, the border is only around the main border, the top border, right? It's not happening around everything, correct? And even if it's happening inside, it's very light. Why is it happening so? Because we have only given the border to the table, okay? That's why. Let's say I'm writing here table td, okay? I'm just writing td. Let's say first th, okay? Let's save this and now let's look ahead into the web page what's happening. So if you look ahead, you can see here that now the borders are also in the th. So wherever I've used the th tag, the border is there, right? One second, let me check if any questions are there. So please create an empty box having any color. Mr. Expand. Mr. Expand, I think I have already done this. Please go ahead and watch Canvas topic and SVG topic, okay? In Canvas and SVG topic, you will be able to find the question which you're asking, okay? That topic is already done. So coming back to the tables, you can see that you're getting a view of all the th, right? Having the border, right? That means if I come back to my code and if I write here th comma td, what's going to happen in all the data also I'm going to get the border. Yes. So let's look ahead. If I go back, you can see in all the data, in all the headings and above the table, everywhere you have the border of red color. Okay. Now it's looking very messy. So let's do something. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come to the code and here I'm just going to write in the table. I'm just going to write style. I'm giving inline and I'm going to write here border collapse so that more borders will not come. Like right now, what is happening for every single cell, there's a border, right? But we don't want that. For every single cell, we don't want the border. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write collapse so that only one particular border should come. So if I save this and now you can see what's happening. So this style, I should give it in all the tables. So let me do something. Let's create table and here itself I'll give border collapse. Okay, and I'm not going to give this here because I want to apply this to all the tables, not only one table. So that's why I'm doing this. If you can see now, we have only one border, that is only one line, right? There's no double line for each cell because all the borders are collapsed and now it is looking quite good, right? So this is another way how you can give the borders, right? Okay, this was only about border, but what about the colors? What about if I want to give any color to anything, right? Let's say I'm writing th here and let's say I want to give here color, some text color. Let's say first text color. Let's say I want to give it here as green. Okay, let's save this. Now, if I go back to my browser, you can see here, if you can't see, let me just make it a little bit bigger. So all the th is now the text color is green, right? So all the basic things of CSS properties, you can use it. Okay, it will work. Let's come back to the code and let's say that I want to give here a background color. Okay, so I can give also that. So let's say I'm giving here black. Okay, let's save this. Let's go back. So all the th, only the th is having a black background and above that there is a green text color, right? So all these CSS properties you can do, you can change the view, you can change anything. Okay, so you have to just use the properties. Now let's understand some more properties which we have not seen earlier. This color, background, border collapse, border, we all have seen earlier, right? But there are some properties which we have not seen. So let's understand that. Just one second. If you have any questions, please do let me know so that I can cover it up and I can give you an idea. Okay, now, so what I'm writing here is, uh, let's say table already I've given here for border collapse. So here I'm going to write width. Okay, and I'm going to give here 100%. Now you know what's going to happen because I have explained you what is width. Width will take the whole width of the web page, right? So if I come to my browser and if I save this, if I go back to my browser, you can see here. Now width 100% means that it's gonna take the whole width. Okay, the whole screen width. Right now my screen is in 70%. Even if you watch it in 100%, it's gonna be giving you a whole width. So the whole screen will be covered with the table. Okay, and now you have a lot of things to do. See, if you want to bring this Ritwik, this name on the corner, right? On the corner of this cell, on the right hand side of this cell, you can do that. Okay, so there is a lot of things which you can do here. Let me show you how you can do. Now that we have the width 100%, that means we can move our cell data from anywhere to anywhere. Okay, so let's say that I'm writing here TD and I'm just writing here text align center. Okay, so you know what's gonna happen. All the TD, all the particular data, all those things will come in the center. Okay, so everything is coming in the center. Similarly, we can bring it in the right. And there is also something which is called as alignment, like the vertical alignment and all. So let me show you how you can use that as well. So text align is something which we have already seen. We know about it. And let's say right now what I'm writing is here, I'm going to write vertical alignment. Okay. And let's say I'm giving here bottom. Cool. Let's save this. Let's go back to my browser. So you can see these all are, one second. Okay, because I've given center, so it's not showing me. One second, wait. There's no hide basically. Okay, now you can see. So let me do something. Let me save this. Yeah, so there was no height. There was only a specified height, the default height. That's why it was not coming bottom. It was coming bottom, but you were not being able to see it. So now I've increased the height. The cell height I've increased. All the data height I've increased. Only the data height. Remember where I've given the height? I've given the height in TD, not in TH or not in table. So only the data height has been increased to 50. And then it is showing me the bottom. Okay. Now, if I write here text align center, the earlier thing which I wrote. So now it will be in the center, but also in the bottom. So understood the difference between text align and vertical align. Okay. That's the difference between both of them. I hope you understood this. Okay. So you can place your particular data anywhere inside the cell, in the top left, the top right corner, anywhere you can do it. Okay, you just have to align it properly using the vertical align and the text align. Okay, now style, I've already told you that you can style it as per you want. You can give padding to it, you can give margin to it, you can provide border to it. So those all things you already know, so I'm not repeating that because you know how to work with those. Next, what I'm going to do here is, I have not taught you CSS pseudo code, right? Pseudo classes and pseudo elements, but I have taught you how to hover things, right? Suppose that I want tr my all rows, right? In all my rows, if somebody is hovering, right, then the background color should change to red. I already have given the border, so let's say yellow. Okay, what I'm doing here is, look at the elements which I'm choosing. Okay, in the table I have given border collapse and width. In the table heading I have given the color and the background color. In the TD, that means the data, I have given the height, alignment and vertical alignment. And now in the row, so understand what is row. Row is not the data or the heading. Row is actually containing the data and the heading. So if you're hovering into any row, what's going to happen? It's going to change the background color. Okay. So let me show you my browser first of all. Now the row is everything, right? Row here is all the rows. So even if I put my mouse here, that means I'm hovering, so it's becoming yellow. Again yellow. In all the rows, it's becoming yellow. Okay. So that's how this is working, right? And now it's look very amazing, right? You have made the tables look quite attractive. Red color is very bright, so don't use that. I'm just using it to show you and train you, but you can see what's happening, right? So this is the thing in tables which we have learned. Any doubts till now? If not, then we can move to another kind of property. Because this is miscellaneous, so we are not only discussing about tables, we are discussing about more other things. Okay, so any doubts still here? Please do let me know if you have any doubts so that I can cover it here itself. Otherwise, our next topic is basically display. Okay, so we are going to see how display works. So for that, let me create a particular HTML page itself. And meanwhile, you can write the doubts, guys, if you have anything. If not, then give me a thumbs up. Do not be silent. I know it's morning, but please, if you don't have any doubt, then give me a thumbs up so that I can understand you guys have understood everything. Okay. So here I'm going to write understanding display in CSS. Okay. Now this is another kind of property, and this display is having a lot of things. Okay. Let me give you an idea. So let's say I'm writing here ID equal to demo. Okay. First of all, I just want to show that what this particular display will contain. So let's say I have display. Now you can see here, there are a lot of values here, right? But don't worry, we don't have to cover up all of those things. We have to just understand the most useful one. And Flexbox, which you are seeing here, do not worry about this. Flexbox is a separate topic which I'll teach you. Okay, so Flexbox here we are not going to understand because Flexbox comes inside advanced CSS, which makes our page responsive. Okay, so Flexbox is a separate topic because to understand that we need a individual 1 hour. So I'm not going to teach you here right about that, but you can see here inline block and block. These are the three things which we're going to study here. Okay, now what is this block, inline and inline block? You must have heard about types of elements, right? Which I've already taught you, the block element and the inline elements. The block elements are basically all the elements where we have div tag, h1 tag to h6, paragraph tag, form, header, footer, section. These all are nothing but our block level elements, right? So all the block level elements makes sure that it appears as a block, correct? That's what is a block element. So suppose that I have a paragraph here, right? And let's say I'm not writing display. Instead of that, I'm just writing background. Okay. Let's say green, yellow. Okay. Here I'm just writing something. Okay. Let's save this and let me open my live server. Let me show you. Let me close this. I hope now you can see it, right? So you can see here that the P is taking the whole width, right? That's what is block. Why is it block? Because it's taking the whole width. So it's called as block element. It's creating a block, correct? Now, what we are going to do, suppose if any element is there which is not providing me a block feature, okay? Something like we have span, right? Span doesn't create you a block feature. Let me give you an example for that also. For P already we have given. So this was an example of what? This was an example of block element, okay? Fine. I'm just going to put this. One second. Okay, this was an example of block element. Let's say I'm putting here span, and in span I'm just writing my name. Okay, and here I'm going to give a style. Okay, let's say background color. Let's say I'm giving here aqua. Let's save this. Now if I go to my browser, you can see this is the difference between your block and inline. So block is paragraph where it is covering everything. Inline is something which is only covering that particular word, right? It's not covering the whole block. Now suppose I want to make this span as a block element, right? I want to make this span, which is an inline element, looks like a block. So what I can do? So let's say I'm coming to this particular thing, and here I'm writing span, and here I'm just going to write display as a block. Okay, now I've written display as a block. That means an inline element, I am forcefully making it as a block element, right? So if I go to my browser, it is acting like a block. That is what is the difference between this block, display equal to block. Okay, fine. Now the same thing you can do it with your paragraph. So let's say that going to my code, in the paragraph, let's say what I'm doing is I'm writing here display and I'm writing here inline. Okay, let's save this. And if I go back to my browser, you can see the block element, which was a paragraph, now it is acting like an inline. Okay, so we have understood what is block, we have understood what is inline. Let me give you one more example so that you get a clear understanding what is happening here. Okay, suppose if you are giving display none, that is actually default. So display none means whatever element you're using, the same way it will act, the same way it will react. So if you are using a block element, it's going to react as a block element. If you're using an inline element, it's going to react as an inline element. But forcefully, if you want to change it, then you can use display. Okay, one more example we will see, because this example I have already shown you in one of the project, but again I want to show you because maybe some of the students have not seen it. So I'm just creating a list. Okay, and in the list I'm just going to mention some things. So let's say I'm writing here okay, just understand that I have given some link. Okay, I don't want to make a link here, I just want to show something. So let's say that I'm writing here YouTube. Cool, and I will close this li tag. In the same way, I'm going to write again, and I'm going to create ahref, and here I'm going to write here Facebook. Next, again a href. Let's say I'm writing here Instagram. Cool, these three things I've given in the UL. Okay, and you know how this gonna appear. So if I go to my browser, you can see this is how it's gonna appear. Right now, this is basically line by line, right? It's coming down below, and we know why it is coming line below, because it's a list. So it's showing me as a list, right? But suppose I don't want to make it show as a list, I want to make it show as a navigation bar. Okay, like in a horizontal manner. So what I can do here, so if I go to my code, what I can basically do, first of all, I'm just going to give here a pipe. This is called as a pipe, right? So that there will be a gap between these all elements. Okay, so that's what I'm giving here. And the next thing in the style, what I'm going to give, I'm going to just write here display inline. Okay, display inline. Let's save this. Let's go back to my browser, and if you see here now, you can observe that it's now in a horizontal manner. I've just zoomed it to make you show it. So you can see now it's in a horizontal manner, and now you know that how you can create a navigation bar, correct? So this is how you can do it. Other thing is, one more thing was there. Okay, suppose, see, now I have written a tag, anchor tag, right? So a tag should give me by default an underline here, because every link is having an underline. Right now it is not giving an underline because I've not given the href. I have not given any website link here, right? That's why it is not giving me any thing, right? So that's what it is. suppose if gives you a line, suppose that later on it gives you a line when you're giving a particular link there in the href, it gives you a underline here, right? So how can you remove that? So basically what you have to do, you have to go here and you have to write here text decoration none. Text decoration none will remove all the underlines from your navigation link. Okay, right now you're not going to see anything because it was already not there. So this is all about inline and block. Okay, block inline is something which can be used as both. It can be used as inline, it can be used as block. That is what is your next one, the inline block. Okay, so display, any doubts in display? Please let me know if you have any doubts in display. Otherwise we'll move further and we'll try to see something else. Any doubts in display? So now let's understand what is visibility. Okay, display we have seen how these display properties work, but we have one property which is display none, right? So if you're writing display none, that means it's by default, correct? But suppose, you know, I want to hide some element. Let's say that I have one h1 tag, okay, and I'm just writing that this heading will act as a visible heading. Okay, cool. This is my heading, this is my h1. Now what I'm going to do here is, this is a visible heading. Next I'm going to write h1 and I'm going to give here a class. Let's say the class which I'm giving here is hidden, and here I'm just going to write this heading can be hidden. Cool. Now in this I'll go to HTML, I'll go to CSS. If I'm using class, I have to use dot, and I'll use here hidden. Okay, and here I'm going to give something. So let's say that I'm given here display none. Okay, I've given here display none. Okay, going back to my browser. Please understand, I'm just showing you the browser right now. I have not saved the file. I'm saving it right now. Okay, let me do one thing, because right now again you will not understand. So let me do something. Here I'm just going to add one paragraph. Cool. Let's save this. Let's go back. Okay. So you can see here that there's a heading. Let me minimize this. This heading will act as a visible heading. So this is acting as a visible heading because I've not given anything here. But in the another H1, I have written this heading can be hidden. But can you see it? You can't see it, right? So what I've written there, display none. That means it should not display anything. Not even the content, not even as an inline, not even as in block. So it's not showing me anything. Okay. So it is not by default. I was again and again repeating it was by default, but display none is not by default. Display none will make sure that it is not visible. Okay. So right now it's not visible. Also, please understand there is no space left for that also. There is one H1, but there's no even a space here. That means my web page is understanding that I don't want to show that content. So why my web page should acquire a space for that? So it's not acquiring any space for that as well. Cool. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to display none. I'm going to remove from here, and I'm going to write here visibility, and I'm going to say hidden. Cool. Let's save this. Let's go back to my browser. And now you can see that the same thing is happening, but there's a space. That means something is written here, but it's hidden. Okay. That is what is the difference between display none and visibility hidden. Okay. So display none makes sure that the content should not get displayed. Cool. And the visibility hidden means that the content is hidden. It's still there. The space will be acquired, but it is hidden. Okay. So in display none, space is not acquired, but in visibility hidden, space is acquired. That is what is the difference between these two. Cool. Now that if you have understood this, let's move to the next one and let's understand what is that. If you have any doubts, please do let me know. I'll explain the next one in this program itself so that, okay, 1 second. Please do let me know if you can hear any background noise. I think there is some background noise, but I'm not sure if you can hear it. I can hear it and it's very disturbing for me. Okay. Okay, hello Lewis. Thank you so much. I hope you're learning it, and thank you so much for the comment. Let's go ahead. So we have now understood many of the things. We have understood the table, we have understood the display none, we have understood the visibility hidden. Many of the things we have understood right now. Right now, let's understand what is max width. We know what is width, right? Width makes sure that the content is expanded in a proper width. But what is max width, right? Let's understand that. So I'll take one example. What I'm going to do here is, let's say I'm using here one div and I'm giving here a class, and in the class, let's say I'm giving here samp1. It's just a short form of sample1. Okay. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this and I'm going to just write something here. Okay. So let's say this is an example of width 500 pixel. Okay. The same thing I'm going to do it again. Right. This time I'll change this class name. I'll change this to samp2 and I'll write this is an example of max width. So let's understand directly what is the difference between these two. I'll just close this. It's taking so much of space. So these two lines I've written, okay, nothing else. This is very simple, right? But now in our class, we are going to do something. So in the style, what I'm going to do, samp1 is my class. I've done something wrong. I've not given a dot here, right? Classes will have the dot. So in this samp1, I'm going to give here width as I've written there that it should be 500 pixel, right? And then the next thing is margin. So margin, I'm just going to give auto. Auto means that browser will understand by itself how much margin it has to provide. And let's say that I'm writing here a border. So border, just I'm going to give here, let's say 2 pixel, solid, green, let's say yellow. Okay, this is my first samp1 class of using width as 500 pixel. Next, I'm going to use samp2, and here I'm going to use max width. Okay, same number, 500 pixel. Here I'm going to again give margin auto. Same things I'll use, and border also I'll give the same thing. Okay, let's move to my browser. Let me show you my browser. I've not saved the file, so let me save the file, and you can see it's showing me something, right? Now I am basically using an OBS, right? So if I make this Chrome close or bigger, let's say I'm doing like this, right? So I don't think you'll be able to see the difference. Okay, let me see how this is appearing in your screen. I don't know how it is appearing, but I want you guys to do this and see the changes. Okay, if you see it what I'm doing, when I'm doing like this, right, the maximum width portion is the border. If you see the border of the maximum width 500 pixel, you can see there's a space. That means maximum width, how much ever browser you will make it closer, after 500 pixel, it's gonna make the border look like it's in between. But if you look at width 500 pixel border is exceeding, it's going out of the border, it's going out of the browser. I think you can see it in the screen itself. I have basically zoomed in and zoomed out. That's why in the screen you can see it's expanded. So you can see what is the difference. You can see on the left hand side, on the right hand side, there's a gap for max width 500 pixel, right? But in width 500 pixel on the right hand side, there's no gap, correct? So that is what is the difference. So when you write width, what happens? When you write width, it takes the whole screen width. And how much is 500 pixel? It will only show you that much. The other part of that will get lost. But when you talk about max width, looking at the browser side, it's gonna adjust itself. Okay, so that is what is max width. So it'll be really good if you can do this in your home. Okay, try it on, and whenever you're running your browser, try to make it minimize and maximize. The Chrome browser, make it minimize and maximize. You will understand the difference. Cool. So that is what is your max width and width. Now we are going to move into the last topic for today, which is position. And this topic was in demand. Many of you have asked me already. So I'm going to show you how this position works. Okay. So before that, please let me know if you have any doubt. If not, then only we are going to move ahead. If you guys are doing it with me, then it's perfect. So I'm not going to use display.html again. I'm going to use another file because this is gonna be a wrong program. I'm going to use position.html, and here I'm going to just write one skeleton, and here I'm going to write understanding position. In CSS. Okay, so we are going to understand positions, but before that, let me tell you what are the values of positions and why is it required. Okay, and please understand the meaning of it. So we have static, okay, then we have relative, then we have fixed, then we have absolute, and we have sticky. Now please understand, static is very easy to understand because it's nothing. Static means normal. How a normal web page will look like is the same thing. So this is by default thing. Okay. Relative, we are going to understand with using an example. Fixed is something which is fixed in a web page. Okay. Even if you scroll the web page, that particular paragraph or heading, it's not gonna change. It's gonna be there as fixed item. Cool. Same is sticky. Sticky will also be fixed at one place, but there's a difference between both of them. So I'll comment this for now because any which ways we are going to do some examples and then only we are going to understand. So right now I've just written as a comment so that you get to know how many types of positions are there. So let's get started with this. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a div. Let's say I'm giving a class. Let's say I'm giving here a static. And to this, I'm just going to write something. So let's say this is a div element where position is selected as between max width and width. Which do you recommend? Lewis, this depends on your web page. Okay, what do you want to do? See, if your web page is responsive, that means you want to use your web page in your mobile also, in your tablet also, and in your system also, then you can use max width, right? Because you know that in max width, it's gonna, even if my browser size is lesser than 500 pixel, it's not gonna lose any content, right? It is going to show me all the content with all the borders, with auto margin. That means from everywhere, top, left, and bottom and right, everywhere the spaces will be seen, right? But when you use width equal to 500, that means the width, right? Then there will be a loss of data. That means there will be a loss of maybe the border, maybe the content will be missing, something will be getting missed, right? So again, the same answer. If you want to make your web page responsive enough, that means you want to make your web page look in your mobile also, in your tablet also, or in your system also, or in a big screen also, and you don't want to change its appearance, use max width. So I prefer max width because most of our web page right now in this era is used in all of the devices, right? So use max width. I hope you got the answer. Let's move ahead with this, which is static. So This is the div element where position is selected as static. Cool. I'm going to close this div. Now here, see, writing just class is static will not do anything, right? Writing just static will not do anything. So what I'm going to do here is in the title, I'm going to give some style. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to give some properties. So first of all, you know that I have to give position, which is static. See, this is not going to do anything because it's the normal way. So, but still I'm just showing you because you should be knowing about it. So I'm just giving here 2 pixel solid red. Cool. Let's move back. Okay, this is a new live server, so I'm going to open it with live server again. Let's close this. Let's move to my browser. Let's close this one. Yeah, so you can see here, this is the normal one. Okay, this is normal one. It is not doing anything. Even obviously there's no scrolling because the content is very less. It's not scrolling, but this is the static one. This is the normal one. Okay, this is not going to do anything. This is how by default position static will work. Okay, now coming to relative. Now understand how relative works and what happens. So relative means it is relative to the normal position. Okay, what is the meaning of normal position? That means if you are writing relative somewhere and you are changing its browser appearance, right? Just like Chrome browser, if you are minimizing or maximizing, then its appearance will change. Right now, if I show you my browser and if I make my Chrome, compress, it's not going to change anything. Can you see? It is still finite. The border is still there. Everything is perfect, right? It's not changing me anything. No loss of data is happening. No border is missing from the corners. Every border is still there, right? Now let's try to code it in relative. Okay. So here let's copy this because I don't want to delete this code and I'm going to paste it here. And this time I'm just going to write here relative. Cool. And here also I'll just write relative. And in the position also I'm just going to write relative. Okay, cool. So here we have given the border. Let's say that I'm also giving a left, from left, I'm just giving some amount of space, 30 pixel of space. Okay, so that you'll understand it in a better way. So if I go back, if I show you my browser, if I save this now, you're seeing that same thing, but there's a relative position. It's a relative position. This gap you are getting because I have written left 30 pixels. So from the left, it is shifting. But look at the end. Can you see the end? You can't see the end, right? Even if I make it bigger, can you see the end? You will never see the end of this border. Why? Because this is relative. Let's say I'm not writing that left equal to 330 pixel, okay? And I'm saving this. Now you can see the end. Even if I make my Chrome browser this way, it's gonna give me the end, right? So now it is working like a static, right? But when I'm giving a space, when I'm giving a left or a right position, then the border is moving out of the browser. It's dropping down, correct? It's bulging out, correct? So that is what is the difference. So I've again written left 30 pixel. I'm going to save this. You can see the difference. The border has gone. So that is why it is always said the definition of relative is that it is relative to its normal position. Whatever is in normal position, it is relative to that. So if you drag it to the side, it's gonna go to the side. Okay, it's gonna go away. So the left out portion you won't be able to see. That is what is relative. Let's understand the next one, what is fixed. If you have any doubts, please do let me know. I'll make it clear. Okay. So again, I'm going to copy this. Again, I'm going to comment this, and again, I'm going to go to the next part. So here, what I'm going to do, let's say I'm writing here fixed. So this particular text, whatever I have written, I am making it as fixed somewhere in my browser. Okay, somewhere in my browser. So I don't want to fix it somewhere here. I want to fix it somewhere else. So let's say I'm writing here fixed, and position also I'll make it fixed. Okay, border, let's keep the same. Here I'm going to give, now understand what I'm giving. Okay, I'm giving here bottom 0. That means from the bottom, this particular div element should be 0. So it should be in the bottom. Then I'm going to give right, I'm going to give 0. Again, so it should be in the bottom right. That's what I meant from this. Okay, it should be in the bottom right corner. Next, what I'm going to give, width, let's say 300 pixel. Again, this is your only the width, that means the div element width. Okay, so do not div is a block, so the div element width is 300 pixel. Do not think that this is gonna take the whole content as 300. No, this is only for the div. So div area will be 300 pixel. Cool. Now let me do something. I'm going to write some paragraphs. Okay, so let me find out some paragraphs. Okay, so this is some paragraph which is written. I'm going to copy this, going to go back to position.html, and above this I'm just going to put a paragraph, normal paragraph, going to paste this, and this I'm going to do a multiple times. Okay, just to make sure that the scrolling bar should come. Okay, just for that I'm just copying and pasting, because I want the scrolling bar should be visible, because with that it will be very easy for you to understand the program. Don't worry about this paragraph. This is just for, you know, for understanding thing. So I'm going to save this, and okay, still it's less. So I'm going to paste more. I know this looks messy, but this is just for explanation. So don't get worried. This is just for explanation. Later on, I'll remove this. I'll do one more paragraph. Okay, fine. Let's move to the browser. Okay, now you can see there's a scrolling bar. There are all the paragraphs, right? But look at the bottom right corner. The bottom right corner is fixed. Can you see? So it is fixed. It's not gonna move even if I scroll down. Can you see the scrolling bar? Even if I scroll down, this is fixed. The text is also overlapping, but the text is fixed. Can you see down? This is fixed here. Let me give a more width, because you know it's not giving me the complete thing. 1 second. Okay, fine. So this is mostly fixed, right? Suppose if I come to the code, if I give here bottom as 10. Okay, let's see what. 1 second. Okay, let's say that I'm not giving this. So okay, cool. Let's keep this as 0 itself. You will get confused. Fine. So I hope you guys understood that this element is fixed. Okay, this basically we use it with the image, right? We don't use it directly anywhere for the text, because text, it looks very abrupt, right? You can see that the text is overlapping, so it's not good to use. This is used with an image. And if you have not seen my projects, right, I have done one session on CSS project where I've used position fixed, because there was one case where I wanted the image to be fixed in one position, and that's where I've used this. So if you're not watched that video, please go ahead and watch it. You'll be able to understand what is position fixed. Here also I've tried to explain you, so I hope you have understood this as well. Now the next thing what we are going to understand is absolute. Okay, now absolute is a little bit tricky, okay, but try to understand. I'll make it understand in an easy manner. Before that, let me remove this paragraph. This is looking so weird. Okay, so here I'm going to comment this. Now understand what is absolute. Absolute means that you can have component, okay, you can have anything, any paragraph or any div which is positioned relative to the nearest position ancestor. That means whenever you're using absolute, you should have absolute position also. With that, one more position you should use. Either it can be relative, either it can be fixed, it can be anything. But with absolute you have to use another class also, another position also. Okay, so let's say I have this thing. Okay, so you can see when I'm using absolute, I'm also using relative with it, right? So that is what the meaning of ancestor. That means before that, before absolute, you should use an ancestor position also. So that ancestor position for me is right now relative. So this div element has position relative, which is an ancestor one, and this one is the absolute one. Fine. This will get closed here. So inside the relative, we have absolute. What is ancestor? It's something like parent and child. So here this div element is the parent and the child is absolute, correct? So what's going to happen here? Basically, inside relative div, you will have absolute div, correct? That's what I'm doing because this div is closing here, and inside this div we have this absolute div. Cool. Now let me give some styles here for both relative and for both absolute, and then we are going to see what changes will happen. So let's say I'm giving here div dot relative, and let's say I'm giving here position relative. This is for only relative, not for absolute. Width I'm going to give, let's say 400 pixel. Cool. Any doubts, please do let me know. Okay, width I've given this much. Let's say height. I'm going to give the height as 200 pixel. And the last thing, I'm going to give a border so that you can understand the difference. So in the border, I'm going to give 2 pixel, let's say solid, and let's say color is yellow green. Cool. This is for div relative. So let me show you how does this look like right now. If I go to my browser, if I just save this, right now it's looking like this, right? Why? Because I've not given anything to this absolute. That's why, okay? But once I give this something to this absolute, the appearance will change. Why this border width and height is coming? Because that is given to relative, and this absolute is inside that relative div. That's why it's coming like that right now. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to give properties to absolute also. So to this again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give same properties. The position I've given from top, let's say I want to bring it down. Let's say I want to bring it down to 80 pixel. From right, I don't want any space. I'm giving 0. Width, let's say I'm giving here 200 pixel. And height, let's say I'm giving here as 100 pixel. And border, I'm going to give the same thing. I'm going to use 2 pixel solid, and what's the color? Yellow green. Fine. Now I'm going back to my browser. Let's save this so you can see what's happening. I have given width and height of relative as 400 and 200 of relative. So relative width is 400 and height is 200. Cool. Coming to absolute, the width I've given is 200, so it's gonna be half. You can see it's half. Width was 400 for relative. Width for absolute was 200, so it's in the half. And what was the height? The height was 100. What was the height of Relative, it was 200. So again, the absolute height is also half. Okay, so that's creating a box for me. It is inside relative. That's what matters. Absolute, everything will be inside relative. Why? Because I have written this particular element inside the div element where relative is there. Correct? So it's gonna be inside only. I've given top 80 pixel because from top there is an 80 pixel, right? And then right 0. So right, you can see it's touching because right I have given 0. Cool. So that's what is happening, and all the absolutes should be having a position ancestor, the parent. Okay, that's where we use the absolute. Fine. So absolute is used in those cases. Now comes the sticky. Sticky is similar to fixed, but sticky is sticky as the name says, right? It's sticky. That means you have a web page, okay, and you have used fixed. So fixed means even if you scroll up or down, that position for that div element will be fixed. It's not gonna even move. But what is sticky? Let's say you have a heading, right, in a web browser, and down below the heading all the contents are there, but you want the heading to be sticky. So heading will be there, but when you scroll down, heading will also scroll down. Let me give you an example for this. So let's say I'm just copying this one, commenting this one, and let me show you an exact way of explaining this one. Okay, so you can see here what I'm doing. This is an easy explanation, so that's why I'm doing this. 1 second, sorry. Okay, now you can see here I have one paragraph which I've written. There's some paragraph which is written. Now there's a div which is says class is sticky, and I've written I'm sticky. Okay, and then I have written div in which there's a style padding bottom, and all the paragraphs are written. Okay, so 4 paragraphs are there inside this div element, and this is style padding bottom 2000 pixel. So we don't care about this, we care about this sticky, right? Now to this sticky class, whatever is written, I'm going to give some properties to it. Right now I'm just going to comment this one because we don't need this. And here I'm going to just write class sticky. And in this, I'm going to give some things. So first of all, I'm going to use here sticky. Sticky nobody uses right now, so that's why it's not giving me an option. Fixed works every time, so that's why people don't use sticky. Padding 5 pixel, I'm going to give a background color so that it appears uniquely. So let's say I'm just giving here it as yellow. And the next thing I'm going to give a border. Let's say I'm giving here it as 2 pixel, solid, and green. Fine, let's move to my browser. Let's save this. Here you can see that I'm sticky is having a background color yellow, the border is green, everything is fine. Try to scroll inside this frame to understand how sticky position works. Now understand what is fixed. First of all, if I would have written here this as fixed, right, then even if I scroll down, what's going to happen? This will be still there, right? The fixed position will be there. It's not going to move. But look at sticky. So if I scroll down, it moved, right? It moved upwards, and now it is sticky to the above. Now it's sticky above, right? So it's not fixed. See, even if I go above, can you see it comes back to the position? It comes back to its own position, right? So when you scroll down, that sticky div element also scrolls, but then at some position it gets stuck or it gets stick. That's why it is called sticky. Let's come back to the code. I'll just check out the comments. Please give me one second. This is important to discuss. Just 1 minute. So here what I'm going to do, let's say I am removing this, okay, and I think this one I've given 2000 pixel, right? Okay, I'm just going to copy these two paragraphs. I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to paste my sticky program. Okay, fine. Now if I go to my browser, so obviously what's gonna happen? This sticky is gonna come down, right? And now if I scroll, this is not sticky right now. Even now it's not sticky, but now it's getting sticked. So this is what is the difference between fixed and sticky. Fixed will be fixed in some position. Sticky will not get stick. It is not like a fixed. It's gonna stick when you scroll. Okay. Why I'm getting this bar here? Because I've given the padding bottom as 2000 pixel. If you look here, so it's giving me a lot of space in the bottom space, so that I can scroll. Okay, this is another way how you want to give some spaces in the bottom. Cool. Okay, coming to the question. In using the CSS selector div.relative, why don't you just use dot relative? I can use, there's no problem, I can use dot relative. Let me show you. So here, why I used div.relative, because when I was writing the program for relative, right, I was having two divs and both the divs were having different classes, right? Okay, so even if you use dot relative only and dot absolute only, it will work. Okay, but I was just making sure that I will tell the browser that this div relative class, this div absolute class. So there's no problem. You can use dot relative also. Okay, earlier I was using that. If you have seen, see, dot fixed. I did not say here div dot fixed, right? So it's not important. You can use directly dot relative dot absolute. There's no problem. Okay, so this was all about the today's miscellaneous part 1. Again we will come back after 10 minutes. Okay, we will come back at 12:20 p.m. IST. We will come back at 12:20 p.m. IST. We'll see miscellaneous part 2. We are going to understand Z index properties. We are going to understand overflow. We are going to understand combinators. Okay, so these are the 3 topics which you are going to understand in the next session, which is just gonna be happening in 10 minutes. So go ahead in the playlist and see what is that session. Meanwhile, please join the Telegram channel as well, and please join this channel so that you can, get notified about all the sessions. So at 12:20 also you'll get a notification the session is going live. Cool. So please do subscribe the channel if you have liked the session. If you have seriously liked it, then please share it with your friends also, so that they also get to know that these sessions are going out for free as a free content, and we need just audience, right? So we need more people to know. So please help us and get it shared with another people as well. Thank you so much, Amit. Thank you so much, Sushant. Thank you so much, Lewis. All the people who are here and who are understanding these things. And cool. We will meet you at 12:20. Have a break, have some water, and then